Tonight, I want to talk about the movie Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Marvel is really good at bringing smaller characters in and just blowing you away with the story. They did it way back when James Gunn introduced the Guardians of the Galaxy, and largely moviegoers didn't even know who they were. And so you come in, they fit it into the narrative of the MCU, and it just worked. Well, here we have Destin Daniel Cretton coming in with Shang-Chi, and he does the exact same thing. He just brings it in, melds it into the larger MCU storyline, and just makes it work. It is a really good movie, and I thought all of the acting was superb. This movie stars Simu as Shang-Chi. We have Tony Leung as his father, Awkwafina as his best friend. We have Michelle Yeoh is his aunt, and Meng'er Zhang plays his sister. And they have great chemistry together in this movie. That is an important aspect of any movie, right? And especially this huge blockbuster movie coming out. Do they have good chemistry? And they do. It is really fun to watch. The story is exciting. The action is superb. I loved all of the action in this movie. The kung fu, the karate. It felt like just an old 70s style kung fu movie that I was watching. But here we are, big budget Marvel movie. And if you know Shang-Chi from the comics, then that's kind of what it was designed to be, right? We had this huge kind of renaissance of kung fu movies in the 70s, and so Shang-Chi was created in comic books to kind of take advantage of that. And so here we are coming in, 2021, and we have this movie released, and it just works. Like I said, the story is just very well done and weaved very well into the larger MCU, which sometimes is kind of hard to do, to weave it into everything that's going on. If you have seen Loki, you do not have to see Loki in order to understand this movie. I do want to preface that. But if you've seen Loki, you know larger implications of kind of the multiverse, right? And so this movie, it doesn't really show a lot of multiverse, but it does kind of point to little things about it. Now, originally, when I was going to rate this movie, building up into it, I was like, man, this movie is fantastic. It's hitting all of the steps that I just love, right? I mean, you got 20 minutes in, boom, you know exactly why we're here, right? So they did a fantastic job of setting up Act 1 and moving into Act 2. That bus fight scene is just amazing. And it's just fantastic when they can just get you from point A to point B just so well. I loved that aspect of it. I'm not a fan of Deus Ex Machina at all. And this movie takes a hit because of that. I just don't like it. I feel like it's kind of lazy writing. You couldn't figure out how to do something. You did a great job building up to our protagonists in peril. And then you did such a great job, you couldn't figure out how to get them out of that trouble. So I'm just not a fan. And again, it takes a hit. This movie was really heading towards 4.5, maybe 5.0 territory. But because of that, it really reins it in for me. The movie was a little over 2 hours, I think, right at 2 hours. It did not feel like it at all. It felt like there was this huge amount of story, like a 3-hour movie, just crunched into like an hour and a half runtime. I mean, I was just mesmerized the whole time. So they did a really good job with pacing of this story, and I really like that. So for that, just that, of course, the Deus Ex Machina, it took a hit, but I'm actually going to have to give this movie a 4.0. Just because of just such well pacing of this story. There were a few elements, again, the Deus Ex Machina, some of the storyline, flashing back and trying to fill in some gaps. I felt like maybe they took a little bit too long getting to that, but overall, it was a really good movie. I highly recommend watching it, especially if you're an MCU fan, you're going to love this movie. I know a lot of people might be getting burned out on this stuff, and you might be thinking, well, how are they going to to do this, you know, and Captain Marvel kind of left a bad taste in some people's mouth, especially mine, you know, for it being a prequel, and then, you know, all the unanswered questions of, well, why didn't he call, stuff like that, you know. But this movie takes place, you know, it is on that timeline, you know, it is forwarding the story, and it does an amazing job of linking itself into the larger timeline, and I love it. I really did like it. I'll probably see it again. But yeah, so have you seen it? Do you plan on seeing it? Let me know in the comments, because I really want to know. I'd love to talk to you about it. But other than that, man, I liked it. Go see it. All right, I'll see you next time.